Hello everybody and welcome to the League of Europe. We are here today for Division 3 round 13 at Qatar, and once again I am joined by Verstappen.
Hello everyone, indeed welcome to Division 3 here. Penultimate round of the season here in Qatar, and we'll be taking you through this pretty exciting Grand Prix hopefully.
Yeah, always an interesting track, good battles. Of course you're going to see your usual mix of penalties picked up from just the white lines essentially. You're in a big open tarmac surface, a few gravel traps here and there to trip up the drivers, but it should be a good one. And of course the title fight is still very much alive after a strong result from MCR last week, winning and getting pole position, so 31 point haul from him. Kamke only picking up 12 points, he only managed P7, so that gap sitting at, got a little quick bit of mental maths, 38 points with 2 rounds left to go.
Yeah, there's still a chance for MCR to try and snatch his title away, but Kamke is definitely the favourite in this. And especially tonight with a lower turnout, it's going to be more difficult to score low in that sense if you're just being consistent. So we'll have to see if MCR can part everything. He just needs to try and win and then hope Kamke doesn't score enough to get high up. Just loading in here, usually dry. I've experienced last season where in Division 4 at that time we had some interesting weather conditions here, full wet in the race. That made it quite an interesting one, to say the least. So, but it doesn't look like we get it right now from the chat, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, well, one of the drivers, a couple of them have mentioned rain. I don't know how serious they're being. Oh no, no rain, come on. Okay, there isn't rain. Just James was hoping for rain, but it seems his wish not granted.
Yeah, unfortunately, for them not. So we get quite a few drivers out on track. Actually, a track that usually has quite a bit of grip, which makes it a pretty nice one to drive, in my opinion, anyway. But there's certain points that can catch you out when you're not being, completely focused. Making a slight bit of a mistake, it can definitely cost you a bit of time. We'll have to see. Only one DRS zone, so it might be a bit easier to break away in the race. We'll have to see how these drivers fare around it.
Yeah, no, always a good, fun one to watch. WEC had their first race here early this year as well. I think that was a Porsche 123 there. So the 963 picking up some success. But here in F1, who was the last winner here at Qatar? Verstappen's a safe bet, isn't it? But
yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure. So
as a Flip getting ready.
Safe bet.
Well, yeah. Oh no, hello.
Flip. Yeah.
Not setting a lap. Okay, right, we'll hop on board then with Swip, next man and the first driver to start a lap. He does have, interestingly, a Haas right up behind him there. That is Ibo, one of the drivers towards the slower end pace-wise, so hopefully he won't get caught up with the back, just picking up a little bit of tow going here through this turn 1, the main overtaking opportunity. Now I will hop on board as he comes through the sweeping S's. The white line's got to be oh so careful to not go over them, to use as much of the track as possible. Now it does have the advantage if there's cars ahead of you in qualifying. Nice and easy for them to move out the way. Plenty of tarmac, doesn't hurt their tyre warm up too much. As I say, that's a car ahead that will need to move out the way. So, Swip, of course, doesn't seem to be using quite as much of the track as you might hope, but still plenty more left of the session. I think there's a slight glitch with it because it's saying we're on lap 40 minutes 55 seconds.
I'm seeing the same thing. I think the timer is fine, so let's just keep it at that. So Swip exits, what I believe is turns 10 into 11 now. And then to 12, this is all flat if you take it right. Even the next one here, down to 7th gear, bit of a lift there, but you can take it flat. We might see that later on, into the penultimate corner. Again, a very difficult one. We're going to be right on the limit of the track and the white lines, so it can be very easy to invalidate. But exiting the final corner goes the Haas. You'll see the ERS will be running out. So the play is used fully there, which means they can't use more than that in a lap. And there's a 23.6 for the Haas driver. I think we'll see a few quicker times coming up as the Ferraris coming around.
Oh, both Ferraris, I think. I know. Harry Noir invalidating, Ibo invalidating, but California setting a nice clean lap at 23.0. I guess you can enlighten us as to how fast that is. Ryan B, a 27.2 on the intermediate compound. Of course, just setting a banker lap.
Yeah, I'd imagine we could see some 21s. As a fastest time. I think that's roughly where it'll be. So Axel
there we go, 21s.
He did have a qualifying ban, so that is not what he's meant to be doing.
Ah, okay, right.
So hopefully we can get that instructed that he has to serve that in some way or another. I think you can disqualify yourself in that sense by potentially turning around as long as it's in a safe spot. But we'll have to get that done at some point. Yeah, at this point there's not much to do. I think NSX Bosnia is on a lap. 26.8 in the first sector is decent enough. So he heads for the flat out turn 9 there. Into turn 10, very difficult corner it can be. You want to carry the speed through, does that quite nicely. All flat for 11.12 as the splits 53.9. It's a pretty solid time there. Now into turn 14. I think tiniest of lift there, but not too much. And now into 15. Good line there from the Williams, and into the final corner. We'll have to see if he can keep it straight there. Short checking to 5th gear, and exiting. And again, deploy EUs. We see it a lot. You can choose to maybe not use as much at some point, but second place for now should be first for NSX Bosnia there.
Consider that pole position, of course, as you mentioned, Axel going to be getting a slap on the wrist in some shape or form. Do we have any drivers currently out on a lap? Is Harry Noir on a lap, or is he on an in-lap after an invalidation? I think that might be the case. He doesn't seem to have the ERS use this year.
Yeah, I think he was on a lap earlier. Let's have a look.
I know he invalidated.
He's not using ERS anyway, so.
Yeah, I know he invalidated his first lap. Because the two Ferraris went out together, both crossed the line together, and California pops up on our timing board. So I'd expect him to come into the pit lane. To me, that makes MCR our championship challenger, the next driver, to be setting a lap just behind his McLaren teammate out on track for the moment. But yeah, he's going to be a driver to watch out for today. He's everything to gain, but of course a bad race from him does guarantee the title to Cam K. Sorry, my brain froze on me there. But yeah, essentially he needs to be within the top 10. In fact, 10th and fastest lap would keep his hopes alive. If he finishes 11th, that is not enough. The title will go to Cam K here today on the penultimate round. Before next week, which is going to be I looked earlier and forgot. Oh yeah, Qatar last week.
Yes. Yeah, no, and this is even providing that Cam K doesn't score any points here today, which I mean I think is pretty unlikely.
Given points to the top 15 here in LOE, so
and it's not a track you can easily crash out either as well. Given the walls are pretty far away at most points, so. Yeah, we'll have to see if maybe he finds a way to hit a wall. Hopefully not, obviously, but we're going to see. Looking at one of the title contenders, MCR just starting his lap as he heads through turn 2, the long sweeping corner there. Coming through turn 3, looking down towards 4 and 5. Very difficult because it kind of wants to disrupt your flow a little bit. You have to straighten up the car to go right again. And it's not quite as nice as you'd like it to be. Now to turn 6, 26.7, that's a bit quicker than Bosnia was, so hopefully he can continue that trend throughout the rest of the thing, as Axel has disqualified himself from the session, and it's good to see, and he should go down the timesheets. He's done it safely as well, looking at the track map, so good props on him. Look at that, Spaniards, heading for turn 10, 9 to 11. We'll have to see what the time on the board is. 53.7, couple tenths ahead of Bosnia right now. Let's see how this is going to go.
Yeah, strong lap so far from the man, but of course he wants the best possible result. We know he's got multiple pole positions throughout the season. I don't know if you've been keeping count, but believe at least 5 so far. Just seems to be his strength through and through. Are we going to see another one here today at Qatar? Towards the line, it is a 1:21.3, and he is to the front of the timing board. Provisional pole to MCR.
Yeah, good lap there from the Spaniard. Saw him run out very early on ERS. I think he's on pretty high downforce. You are definitely on high downforce on this track anyway, but I think that's still high for this track. We'll have to see. With the Alpines currently on laps right next to each other, so we'll have to see how they fare. So Ikos and Mats is exiting the final corner now, 5th gear. Let's see, so deployment is used for the lap there, and that's going to harm him a little bit down towards the line, but the 22.6 puts him into P3. Nonetheless, his teammate snatches away that P3.
22.1 for Steven. These drivers both doing pretty well. Alpine both drivers within the top 6 in terms of the standings. I think they have, I know they're P3 in the constructors for this tier. It is of course Red Bull with Cam K and Ryan B, who are completely running away with it. The driver leading the title, and then Ryan B, who's 3rd in the title and always puts in some very strong performances, just sometimes struggles a little bit with consistency and hasn't stood on that top step just yet. Right, who have we got on laps at the moment? Q was 15 seconds up on his lap. I hopped on board with him and he invalidated the literal second after, so he's going to need to save up some more ERS. Go round yet again. James Head, he's 2 seconds up in the first sector, but of course that's compared to an intermediate lap. If he can get 2 more seconds a sector continuing, then that puts him within the top 3 quite possibly.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I would say you're a little bit quiet right now, so see if you can fix that, be a bit nicer. James coming for here, 3.8 seconds up, 54.3 here. But I suspect that's going to put him around the top 5 here at least. So Mercedes exits turn 14 into 15, down to 6th gear. A lot of speed carried through, that's nice to see. And then to the final corner, open it up, later apex there, and open it up back again on the exit. Let's see how the Mercedes is going to fare. Down towards the line, the 121.9 P3 even, so good last sector. Helped him get up there.
As here we go, the man we were talking about earlier, Cam K. Fairly strong first sector. We will see how he manages. Can he topple MCR, or is it going to be usual MCR dominance in qualifying? Cam K getting him back in the race. Coming towards the end of sector
across the line.
2. Wow, look at that.
Good lap there from the other McLaren.
54-1 sector split, so I'm not sure he's going to get into that top 3. I think he's going to struggle to challenge MCR here.
Yeah, this looks like a P4 lap for the time being. Doesn't look too great for there either, at least from the offboard. It carries on. Let's see what the Red Bull can do. I think a 21 is still in there for the American. Now open up the throttle towards the line at 121.6.
Yeah,
fairly solid there, P4. Not quite on the level of the McLarens, but he's still up there, which I think is important.
That's cute here. Took a lap to get his battery back in business. He'll be going around again. Slightly older tyres, but of course wouldn't have pushed them too much that lap. Does Ibo improve here? No, he does not. About a second down out of ERS. So I think he will be due a pit stop, another set of tyres, and one final attempt. I think about 4.5 minutes left on the clock. Doesn't tell me, but I'm hoping my instinct is at least somewhat there here. Oh, it flashed up there, but I wasn't looking.
Yeah, I've not quite got the timer on here. 4 minutes 50, a little bit more. We'll have to see. Just going around. It's pretty quiet out there right now. Bosnia was on a lap, but invalidated. 2,000 down he was through sector 2, so maybe he's got some time in there. I'll have to see later on.
Yeah, I think he might be the only man. 15 seconds.
54.9 there.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's more important number.
Yeah, I think he could get himself into the top 10 probably here. See Aston Martin coming down towards the final corner. Then towards 4th gear, late apex, a little bit off there, but across the line, let's see what it's going to be.
Yeah, right around that 9p10 terms of pace. And it's P11 for him, a couple tenths off the back of Matt's 22.8. His tyres, though, were a little bit aged. It's Ibo going round again, about to start another lap for him, though no ERS to work with. It is just him using this time to get a bit of practice out on the track. 3 minutes 45 left on the clock, so we'll see that final mad dash. And around a track like this, that can cause a little bit of problems. You get stuck behind a slower driver, and you are not easily going to find a way around. That dirty air is going to hit you quite heavily through some of this middle section.
Yeah, although I don't think with the amount of drivers that we do have, 14 left now, and I don't see Flip getting out there on track. He doesn't do that often. I think there's a good chance that people will have enough clean air to, do their own run. As long as they don't get each other's way, should be just about fine. But Eagles Matt has decided to go early. The Alpine is currently in P10. He is going to go down towards turn 1 now, and let's see how he's going to do his lap. And if he can get himself maybe close towards his teammate or even a little bit higher up.
Yeah, we'll see here. A nice clear track ahead of him always gives you that slight bit of confidence, that one less thing to worry about on your lap. We'll see his sector splits currently sitting 1.4 seconds off of the top of the timing board, and even if he's not aiming for the very front, he is still a strong driver. P6 in the title. He's picked up a race win. He's picked up 3 third places, as there we go, quarter of a second faster after the first sector. Now, depending on if he had mistakes later on in his lap, I wasn't watching what the sector split was. We'll see how he manages. At the moment, it seems to be a pretty strong lap, maybe a little bit lost here and there, but certainly nothing too shabby. No big mistakes, so to speak of. Coming towards the end of sector 2, we'll see how he's doing. What the times are telling us, a 54.4, still only 2 tenths green hit. I don't think he's going to break into that top 5. We shall see. I reckon it'll be about a P6 or a P7 as he rounds the final bend. He doesn't really have time to go around again. He won't have the ERS so to work with. Whatever he sets here will be his final lap. Deploy all used up towards the line. It is going to be a 1:22.2. It's P8 for him, splitting the 2 Ferraris.
Yeah, that was a tiny gap to get into, but he managed to do it. So, yeah, MP8 currently is going to have to wait and see what others do. They are just all starting a lap. Swip is the first one. I think it's just James in behind there. Since they're a little bit earlier than the rest of them. So let's keep an eye on them. Swip currently heading for turn 1. His Q has retired in the pits. He's had enough. P11. And James might be the one we have to look out for a little bit more here. Then we P5. Let's see if he can get a little bit more time out of it for the rest of the lap. It's then in towards turn 4, 5th gear here, carried out towards the exit there, and carry the speed through turn 5. Slightly a bit down on this time though, so it doesn't look like he could improve that much. He's gonna have to find 4 tenths to get ahead of Camk at least. Maybe he can sharpen his time to prevent others from beating it so far. Sector 2 looking pretty solid here. See, it's the apex quite nicely for turn 10 there. Mercedes up towards the sector 2 split. Let's see what's going to be.
Oh, where's a slow Alpine?
4-3, yeah. Alpine just getting out of the way, I think. Matt's after his lap. He's a slight bit down still, James. He's going to have some time in the last sector. Heading through turn 15, I think. And now in towards the last corner. A little bit too much over the curb, maybe. And so the car invalidates there on the exit. That's unfortunate to see.
Swip into the pit lane as well, as is Mats. Oh, of course, yeah, we knew he was going slow. So Stephen, our next man, the other Alpine, the current P6, apparently set his fastest lap on a 0 lap all tyres. Well, that is a mighty impressive feat, but can he make his quali lap even more impressive here? Coming towards the final bend of the circuit.
Yeah, let's see what it's going to be. I see the opposite DRS there. It was a bit down in sector 2 on the split. So he's going to have to found something here. He has found something and gets himself up to P4. Must have made a mistake on his previous run. California is next up. And across the line he goes. Slight improvement into P8. And next up is Camke into P3 with a 21.4. His teammates just arriving as well there.
Huge amount of improvement here from his teammate, I think. Oh no, only up to P7. A 122 flat, still nearly 6/10 found. Harry Noir is invalidated, giving a little bit of slipstream note to MCR as he puts it on pole. A 21.1. Can his teammate
Crack is on. Yes.
Oh my goodness, that is a lot of green.
No!
Did he slow down at the line for his teammate, or was that just losing 4/10?
Or the delta was wrong. I don't know. We're gonna have to quickly check in the sectors in a bit. As, the McLarens do lock out the front row, so I don't think they can be too unhappy about it. But it looked like the sector 2 split. For clarification, the Crack was a half a second up on his time. He's going to be in P2 currently, and I'll let you run through the grid as I quickly check what's going on.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the front row lockout for McLaren. MCR getting that pole position with a 21.1. Crack a 21.2 just behind. They had a lot going into the last sector that didn't come into fruition on that final lap. Camke P3, Bosnia P4 on the second row. Then Stephen P5, James P6, Ryan B P7, Harry Noir, California, and Matt's finishing out that top 10. Q11th, 12th for Swip, Ibo P14, Flip not setting a quali lap, and Axel setting one very good quali lap, realising he has a quali ban and getting himself disqualified so as to serve it. But that rounds out the 15 drivers here today. I don't think we've got any others joining us, but it is MCR and Camke that we will have our eyes on. As, yeah, I think that is Crack commenting there, lost 0.3 before the last sector. No.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
He did lose, I can confirm, in the last sector he lost a half a second on his previous last sector on the previous lap, so there was definitely a pole position in there for a Crack. We'll see if that pace translates towards the race as well.
Yeah, as Axel amusingly commenting, my lap was good enough P4. But yeah, that's what a quali ban will do to you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, luckily it's been solved out. In terms of strategy, this could be a pretty interesting one. I suspect we'll see a lot of mediums. The softs for some people I've seen work, and for other people not whatsoever. So it might be a little bit of personal preference as to what tyre you want to go for. If you want to go safer and use a hard set, or potentially go a bit more aggressive, use softs, or maybe even 2 soft sets if you still have them left, in case of Axel, for example. So we're going to have to see as we will load into the formation app shortly. All dry as well, so none of that rainfall just hitting now. We'll have to see.
Yeah, right, let's get up those tyres, have a little look. Okay, we've got all 3 compounds. Hards for Stephen. We've got mediums mostly in the top 10. Then Camke, Mats, Swip, Ibo, Flip, and Axel opting for the softer compound. Clearly Camke wanting to get ahead of the 2 McLarens on that first stint, get that advantage nice and early. Of course, Eloise mandatory 2-stop does mean that I guess you can push hard early on and then preserve your tyres in the latter half, but you can be a little bit less you have to be less caring about your tyres. You can push them that little bit more.
Yeah,
put up with the abuse.
By pushing more, it's more prone to making mistakes. So you gotta keep it all in check and make sure you don't mess up anything. Steven going for the hardest tyre is definitely an interesting one. I think the hards are a pretty solid tyre in terms of pace. It's not like he's just gonna drop through the field. But I think they just as much drop off. I personally found them horrible to use, but that was just due to the amount of understeer it kind of got on the front, so I personally don't like that. But it could be that Steven is like, you know, I don't want to deal with my wearing softs, and I'm gonna use the hards for a change, and then potentially use 2 sets of mediums, or maybe even softs at the end. We'll have to see what he opts for. And safety cars, although not that common around here, given the walls are pretty far away, they can still happen. So I have to see if that throws any spanners into the works as well.
As Stephen going flying ahead on his hard tyres. Clearly doesn't care for the temperature warm-up as he'll be sat on the grid for ages, which in hard tyres seems like a bit of a mistake. But we shall see. So earlier on I mentioned who was the last winner here. Assumed it was Max Verstappen. It was in fact Max Verstappen. Only 2 races here held at Qatar. I didn't realise it was that few. 2023 won by Verstappen. 2021 won by Hamilton. So 1 apiece for those 2 rivals as MCR now round in the final corner to line up onto the grid. The lap record here 24.3. Well, I guess the race lap record. So the drivers already demolishing that here in qualifying.
Yeah, I reckon we could see something close to that, or maybe a bit quicker as the fastest lap in the race. We'll have to see, especially if we're going to be in softs towards the end. I think it could happen there. So everyone trying to get this successful, but a few people not quite managing to do so. We just have to wait for these lights to go on and go back off again.
So there we go, crack the last man. Oh, hello, no, what's going on here? Is that Ibo? Where's he going?
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. He seems to be fully in control of his car, but he has.
Yeah, well, he's wiggling his car along. Oh, he did do the formation lap, right? He wasn't just sat there on the grid. I don't know if they're giving him.
As far as I know.
Second formation lap. It's still showing him that P13 as you would expect. This is a weird one.
Daniel Work is now retired. I think there's some sort of lobby glitch going on. We're calling for a restart now.
Yeah.
And a new lobby here going on, and maybe a smartest thing to do. This is one of the weirdest ones I've seen. I've seen it before where a car stops and then does a second formation lap. I've not seen this one before. Just drives by.
Yeah, well, completely new to me. Just 3 more drivers yet to retire from the session, but of course, actually, guys, quickly leave the lobby before it causes issues to the stream. I've had it crash before because of that. So let's try and avoid that one. We'll get into the new lobby as quickly as we can. And yeah, apologies for the technical issues, but while we're at it, we'll have a look. There's not just that CAMK MCR battle at the front of the field. The battle for P3 in the title is pretty close. You've got Ryan B sitting on 183 points. Just 15 behind that is Steben, and just a further 5 behind that is Bosnia on 163. So those 3 drivers separated by just 20 points. And of course, it's 21 for a P3. So that battle for P3 in the drivers is oh so close. All 3 drivers hit today as well, so not like they're skiving towards the last few rounds of the season. So we will see when we get the lobby back up and going. You're more likely to get an invite than me, Verstappen, so if you can chuck me an invite as and when.
Yes, it's just getting set up. I'll let you know whenever I do get an invite, and then obviously they'll be sorted out.
Yeah, Ibo's saying his stop location didn't show up, so yeah, weird one.
Very strange. Guess Codemasters still is Codemasters, even whilst being taken over by EA. But hey.
Yeah, well, what are we now? Just actually it's about a month away from the next game, isn't it? So it's starting to ignore all the bugs involved.
I'm sure we'll still have some glitches on that game as well, but hey, what do you do about it?
Wouldn't be a Codemasters F1 game without a few bugs to keep you on your toes.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's keep up the fun facts for this circuit. So as we mentioned, only 2 races held here for F1. Plenty of lots of MotoGP races around here. For anyone who follows MotoGP at all, you would have known that they like this circuit essentially. But there's lots of open air, so if you decide to fall off your bike, there's gravel traps to slow you down. You're not just going to thud into a wall, to word it quite bluntly. So well suited for those type of cars. They've had GP2 Asia. There we go. There is my invite. What else have we had? Of course, Formula 2, F1 Academy. Well, this year WEC, as we mentioned earlier, where Porsche absolutely demolished the rest of the field. Peugeot nearly had a very good run in their wingless 9X8 until it ran out of fuel with about 1 lap to go and got disqualified because of it. For those of you who don't follow that, the Peugeot went into the Hypercar series and decided, what if we didn't have a rear wing? Everyone laughed at them, and then they were nearly successful. It surprisingly worked. They have now revamped the car, chucked a rear wing on the back, not changed the name, despite changing everything but pretty much, I think, the monocoque and the windshield was what they said. But
that's pretty interesting. I've seen races before on F1, by the way, where people do run out of fuel here. That's one that consumes quite a bit, so if anyone's still listening and messed it up on the last one, you have a bit of a chance to try and resort that. We'll have to see. It's everyone bar one person just waiting on to get into the lobby. I think it's just about there now, 15. So that is time for Swift to set the lobby, set the grids properly, and we'll get back underway.
Yeah, as I feel like I've already forgotten where everyone qualified. I know it was MCR first, then we had Crack, then it was Cam K.
Yeah,
beyond
Cam
that,
K was
not a
empty.
clue. that's me done. But that's the two title boys. So.
Yeah, no, Bosnia was in 4th, then Steban obviously on the hearts. Then it was James, Ryan, Hanover, California, Mats and P10. Then Q, Swip, Ibo, Flip, and then Axel, obviously at the back of the grid with his qualifying ban, so...
Which does raise the question, is Steven still going to go for the hard tyres, or is he going to go for that last minute swap?
Yeah.
Now they have more soft tyres to play with, don't they?
Yeah, I believe so. So there might open up a few more opportunities for strategy calls. We'll have to see.
So is medium soft a viable strategy here, or is that pushing the tyres a little bit too much?
I think it can be. But our D1 winner, Noof, did use 2 sets of softs. It's one of the only ones on the grid. Got away quickly after qualifying pretty high up. So it's definitely a possibility to use 2 sets of softs. But you have to be good on your tyres. You have to make sure you conserve them and you can keep the pace on them later on in the stint as well.
But hopefully soon back to the racing. Hopefully not the same glitch going to happen again, because I don't know, I've been commentating F1 now for I think 4 years, about 4 years. Because I started well about May 2020, so about 4 years. Never seen that once. I must have done over 100 F1
times,
races.
Unfortunately, like something around that, where a car just takes off after a formation lap. Also in races I've done myself. I think I've seen it before as well, so yeah, interesting one. Still not resolved. Of course, why would it be?
You gotta earn the name Codemasters. You gotta add a bug so you can brag about taking it away.
Yeah, potentially. So I think the grid has been set now, so I just see Swip typing. And yeah.
There we go, right. Specified that they have to choose the same tyres and setups as before.
Well, setups we can't quite control
it's
that.
Hard to police.
There's no way to say that, so that you can kind of leave that one out. Tyres, obviously, we can, so we'll have to see. And even if then, it's probably not too big of a deal, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I imagine we're not going to see anyone started on the inters or wets, that is for sure. The drivers earlier on confirming no rain to be had today, which is kind of what you expect at this circuit.
Yeah, and we can see the weather has been set to dry as well, so obviously, given that it's a restart, it's the same weather conditions, so we'll have to see how that's going to go. And we'll get, hopefully, no more glitches. Do with the formation lap here.
yeah, I guess the simple way is the formation lap still in there, or has Swip removed it and gonna pull a fast one over
I
on
don't actually
everyone?
know, so I have to see if Crack has left the
Ooh.
session, which is unfortunate. Let's hope he can get back in as well.
And it says it's starting already. Well, in 20 seconds, but
I think that's just starting, as in you're loading into the race. It's just for people to pick their tire allocations.
well, yeah. But if Crack's just been kicked from the lobby, yeah, he just got DC'd. He can't pick anything here.
No, I don't think so. Let's see if his car is still going to be there or not.
It's Crack.
He has rejoined. We'll have to see. We have to see whether he's actually going to be in there. I don't think we'll be able to see until we actually get to see the grid.
I do have a black screen. Ah, there we go. I'm in. Right, cool.
Yeah,
I have to commentate on PS4 because the echo I get when I use PS5 is absolutely massive. So it means I've got nice long loading screens.
Yeah.
But we are now in. You can see the pit box.
Yeah, I'm only seeing one of the McLaren pit boxes actually with a name there. So
Oh, you're right. A Dutch
I don't know
one.
if Crack is able to even race at this point.
That is a good point. Because what, the two McLarens are... Yeah, well, Crack and MCR. And... No, it's MCR's not on the grid. Right, because... Oh no, wait,
Well,
what? It's showing the Dutch flag, but neither of the drivers are Dutch.
Well, the car is there, but I believe Crack is going to be, unfortunately, on the default setup, so that is kind of shit then.
Yeah, I mean, airing his frustrations, understandably so.
Let's have a look if there's anyone else on different tires. Doesn't look like it, so everyone has adhered to Swip's request there.
Crack.
But yes.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I understand it. Yeah, it's just a difficult one at that point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he acted as a little bit of a rear gunner early days for MCR, but beyond that, race hopes across the entire 29 laps not going to be the strongest. No setup, no strategy. So to speak, I've got DC'd at the perfectly wrong time. Drivers all picking the setup nice and quickly, which good to get back into the race again, but very bad news here for Crack. Who, yeah, well, he's going to be having a tricky race here today.
Yeah, definitely. If he is even going to get back in his car, because it's still Ghost car as of right now, so we'll have to see. Yeah, not ideal, obviously.
Yeah, he hasn't actually yet said specifically he's not racing, so I think that might just be he's paused and having a kind of, I don't know, seeing if there's anything he can do, but...
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything set by the division organizer either, so as of right now, we'll just be going at this point. So
is that Stephen doing the same thing again? Yeah, Stephen once again has gone miles ahead.
I think he's trying to warm the tires up by pacing them a bit more, having, make sure you get the tires up to higher temps, but I know for a fact that's not the best way to actually heat up your tires on this game, weirdly enough. We'll have to see. See Salt's in there. Nicely. Yeah, everyone else just lining up, and then we'll get going with MCR and Paul.
Yeah, Crack confirming he is going to race, but looks basically finished. We will see how he manages. I mean, imagine that, I don't know, safety car strategy and all means he comes back to win this thing in the end. I don't know how far off the default setup, the Qatar setup is, and if he's completely done for or not. But the last driver now coming into that grid box. It is attempt number 2. Ibo is importantly stopped on track. Will hop on board with MCR. Wait for the lights to go up. We are 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on the board, and away we go. Here, a strong getaway for Cam K immediately, trying to pull alongside the McLaren of Crack, and there's nothing Crack could do. He's going to send it up the inside of MCR. No, he is not. Crack immediately going wide. Of course, not familiar with the car. He's not used to how it handles now. All the practice laps he's done going to come away from him. No
and
big
he's also on the hard tyre, so that's not going to help either.
Oh, actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, he's not able to do much about that. So Mats has now dropped towards the back of the grid as well. More chaos there as Swip, Axel and Flip are all round. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, my goodness, all three of them gone round. Although I think somehow none of them losing any front wings, certainly not that I can see already. Time penalties for Q is Cam K unable to take the lead despite the soft compound advantage. Crack plummeting down the order. I mean, he's getting involved in plenty of battles, but he's losing every last one of them.
Yeah, I think he's got a setup that has a bit more straight line speed given what I'm seeing here compared to Harino Work, for example. So yeah, I think that is not going to help him much in the long run, but maybe he can salvage something. He's on P6, so it's not the end of the world, but yeah, not ideal definitely. Ryan B also over the back of Steban, obviously the other hard runner here today so far, and Cam K is opting for a move down the inside here, down towards turn 1, and he's going to make that one stick pretty easy, I think. MCR not got much to fight with there, tries to switch back, but yeah, stuck in behind now, and that is down to P2. Cam K taking the lead, his teammate also making a move on Steban in turn 1, and he's up into P4.
Yeah, both Red Bulls starting out strong. Cam K doing exactly what he needed to do on those soft tyres. Mats is into the pits for a set of hards. I guess maybe a front wing was lost that we did just not see. And now Bosnia's on the back of MCR. That's not what MCR wants to see. He wants to be able to keep on to the back of Cam K, not have to worry about defending. But this car here, 10th and a half away, right in his rear window. Gotta be keeping him very, very conscious of his defensive lines. It won't be till lap 4 we get our first DRS zone because of where the detection zone is, and I think that gap's going to be over a second before that happens.
MCR is struggling a lot here right now. Just not seemingly having the pace right now to really get up there. Sanseros James is also picking up a 3-second time penalty. The track limit's big thing here. Very easy to just run wide, just cut a corner a little bit too much. It's all tight and narrow there, so you have to see. MCR also with more straight line speed, I think, than Bosnia here.
See, Crack right onto the back of Steep and down the straights, but doesn't go for a move as he knows would not be able to hold it through the corners. Honestly, given he's on hards in a default setup, he's doing a very good job to hold on to this train.
Yeah. Very solid actually, and this train all the way going down to P9 with Q here. James just a little bit off the back then. It could be a pretty exciting one here, at least for P2. Cam K is absolutely just bolted away. Second and a half gone, and Bosnia just having much more pace than MCR here. I wonder if MCR hasn't picked a default setup by accident. Because he is struggling compared to the guys behind.
Yeah, you do wonder, has McLaren given the car a new paint job and put a bit too much weight on the car because of that? Remains to be seen. Possibly going for a bit more fuel, possibly going for a setup that's nice to his tyres. Crack picking up 3 seconds of time penalties. Well, given the understeery boat he's dealing with, I think quite an understandable time penalty. He's all into the back, Bosnia into the back of MCR, and MCR's off into the gravel way down the order.
Oh,
just a slight tap, but it was enough to send him off. Joining now is straight into the pits now, actually. Did he pick up rear wing damage? I don't think he would have. The contact didn't seem heavy enough for his tyres. Not going to be too happy. Going to be have to play the long game. No, retired. That's the championship over.
That has to be. I think he must have picked the wrong setup. That's the only thing I can imagine. That's Bosnia, Ryan B and Steven all fighting it out here for P2 on track. Ryan B just holding on to P3 there, or Steven trying to hang around the outside, but there's not really much room there, so he's going to have to back out of that one. Cutting back though, tries to get alongside, but just isn't much space. He's still trying to get alongside the Red Bull, but for now, not it for the Alpine. He has to tuck in behind.
Yeah, that is such a shame for MCR. We can now confirm Kamke is our Season 11 Division 3 champion, and he's leading the race. Just to add to it even more, perhaps not the way you would have wanted to go about winning it, but in the end that does lock it in for him. And look at it, 2.9 second gap to the rest of the field already. So there's still plenty battling away. Crack is still not losing any more positions. He's holding on to the back of them here. About to go through the first lot of DRS. Ryan Beale was the first man to open the DRS here this race. And I think too far back to do anything about it. Harry Noir, he could go for the overtake, but remember, Crack is so much straight line speed compared to the rest of them that actually the DRS straight is not going to do too much for you. Ibo's out to spin further back down the order, dropping down to P13, the last corner, catching him out, presumably the curb on the exit there. It's the Ferrari looking for a way past that McLaren, but it's so tricky around this track. The dirty air, really got to pick your moments. And given you can't really pick the straight, given the lack of downforce on that McLaren here, makes it that much harder. Oh no, I think MCI is saying he didn't give himself a setup. I literally forgot to reset the settings.
I think he means that he's forgot the setup with that. So yeah, that basically confirms what he's saying. Didn't look as quick after lap 2 basically, which, I mean, he'd probably have used some ERS to compensate for the lack of the right setup. Yeah, no, that's very unfortunate there, and yeah, that means Kamke is going to be our champion here today. And a bit of an anticlimactic one, at least.
Yeah, I'll admit I was kind of getting all hyped up. This is going to be another MCR masterclass. He's put himself on pole, got that one bonus point. Going to bring it down to the final race at Qatar next week. Not to be the case. Here we go. Harry Noir much more onto the back. Crack going defensive. The McLaren going around the outside. Can he hold it up the inside? No, he can't. Harry Noir up into P6. Crack dropping down to that P7. There's someone asking there in the chat, can someone link me the Discord server? I don't know how to join. I think if you go to the channel's description, then it should have all the info there. It's got the website, and I think the website has a link to the Discord. That's more up your street, Verstappen, so I'll let you
yeah, as of right, I don't think there is a link there. Your best bet would just be to go on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it nowadays, and search League of Europe F1. There, contact us or DM us, and then from there we could potentially get you into the league. So yeah, at League of Europe F1, and we'll get you from there.
Yeah, there we go. It's always nice to see more drivers coming towards the end of the season. Next season, of course, going to be on F1 24.
Crack is in.
So
RT Crack has pulled into the pits from the hard. I think he could go onto mediums potentially.
Yeah, or slowing down for the pit entrance usually means it's not going to be a retirement. So always a good sign. The man, I mean, he's done a remarkable job. We were expecting him to just, or at least I was expecting him to plummet down through the field, but held on pretty nicely. Some good defensive driving.
Yeah, I think he's trying to mimic a soft medium strategy, but obviously he didn't get the choice of start as soft, so go double medium from here. It's not actually a bad choice. And if he can somehow keep pace with the setup that he does have, be very impressive to see. Obviously we saw in qualifying that he's definitely got some sort of pace. We'll have to see if that is not harmed too much for now.
Yeah, as I don't know if you've noticed, that gap between Bosnia and Kamke has been gradually coming down. At one point I saw it at 2.9 seconds, now down to 1.9. So
yeah, that's not too surprising given that the softs just drop off at this point. They aren't good for that long, but the initial advantage you gain on them can be quite quite good, which obviously helps KMK break away from the rest of the train. For now, he's deciding to stay out though. So he's got a 2.2 second gap on Bosnia just in behind. His flip has picked up a very second time penalty down in P9. Yeah, Bosnia looking pretty quick himself as well. With a lot of ERS still to play with. And nearly actually given a bit of a gap to Ryan B. So not too bad from him as Q is passed to California for P6 there.
And I think also Axel under threat from Flip. The man who just picked up 3 seconds time penalties, also looking to pick up a place, but I think Axel has beautifully held it around the outside, holds on to that P8. Has he got him closed? Yep, there we go, door closed. Axel successfully defending that P8 position, although he's having another look, but no, the side's better with it. Turns 4 and 5, bit of a scary place to be going for a move. In the end,
it's not quite the one. Turn 6, the hairpin where they just went through, that's more of an overtaking opportunity often enough. So if you're going to see it elsewhere but turn 1, that's probably the place. For now, Flip has to remain in behind. KMK this lap has expanded the gap a little bit again, up to 2.4, 2.5. The mediums obviously at this point won't be too amazing either, and it's reflected by how close Steban is currently to Ryan B. Usually the hards still have a couple of laps left before they really start to hit the cliff. And it's noticeable because Steban 2 tenths, 3 tenths behind the whole way through sector 3 behind Ryan B. Ryan B having a big snap there on the exit as well. Is they going to allow Steban to go through, or is he happy just sitting in behind? And I think it's the latter. It doesn't look like he wants to offer a move. Ryan B does though. Ryan B does, settings it up the inside. The other Williams has spun in the background in last place. Ryan B is up into P2. Steban now trying to get involved as well, but sitting behind in P4 now he is.
Yeah, thing to note, both Bosnia and Steban a lot more ERS than Ryan B is. James retiring in the pit lane there. Crack setting fastest lap on his fresh mediums. Guess that setup not harming him too much. Now he's learning it a little bit more. So is Steban going to go for the move soon? The hard tyre is going to come into their own in the next few laps. I wonder what strategy is going for with them as well. The only man to choose to start on the hards. Crack not getting that choice in the end as an overtake further down. I assume that was an overtake, not just someone leaving the pits.
Not quite sure. I think that might have been Mats going by Ibo. That's the one I think that happens. We have yellow flags for James just retiring his car anyway. His AI car being retired. For the time being, Ryan B actually opting for the pits here. So that's Steban. KMK on the softs still going on. So
interesting that Steban comes in on the hards. KMK staying out on the soft compound.
10 laps on softs is
so
a lot.
Mediums again for Ryan B. Steban going on to the mediums as well. So he's done his 2 compounds, still needs his 2 soft tyres. I can't see KMK staying out another lap after this one. I mean, he could triple soft at this rate.
Yeah, if you were allowed to do it by the rules, you could do triple soft at this rate. But I don't even think that might be the best thing. It's a Crack just coming out there next to Steban, just behind. But if you can maintain in the DRS here, just stay close. Maybe undercut again. There's a chance he still gets somewhat of a top 5 finish even. I think it's possible. Have to see if that's after the penalty, it's going to harm him a little bit. But I think for what he's working with, he's doing a very good job here, the McLaren. Right,
as I've just seen James Head saying, forgot to apply the setup and fill my car up like a boat with 3+ laps of fuel. So it seems multiple drivers caught out by the lobby restart. Some to different levels. I mean, both McLarens affected. James Head affected as well. Really, really unlucky for the drivers. Only so much you can do when the game just throws that glitch at you. I'm not sure the race was ever going to start with what had happened. Steban dropping off the back of Ryan B. These two were fighting before. There we go. KMK is into the pit, as is Harry Noir and Q. Bosnia taking the lead for the moment. Question is, where do they come out on track compared to compared to Ryan B and Steban?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting as Q's opted for a soft set here. We're gonna see how close the Red Bulls are gonna be, because I think Ryan B with this undercut might have come himself at least in the DRS, but I think he's gonna be even ahead of Cam K. Cam K dropping all the way behind Crack even, down in P4 provisionally.
Yeah, Bosnia staying out, but it has the undercut proven to work even by just one lap there, which makes Stephen pitting off the hard tyres more worth it.
Yeah, we're gonna see. But obviously he's got fresher tyres now, so he might have a chance to capitalise back onto it.
Q going deep. I'm not sure if that was a nudge from California to make him go deep. Oh, hello. Ooh. Yeah, it certainly was, because that is some unsportsmanlike racing caused by a lash of emotions, we say. But luckily the deliberate collision affecting the driver going to collide far more than the driver being hit. There's Bosnia, now into the pits. There we go, Indigo in the chat. Hello to Indigo, who has given Stephen a bit of support here.
He's going to need it. We'll have to see if he can maybe capitalise. He's in a position where he can definitely fight for the podium positions. But Bosnia coming in, another set of medium strapped on. And it's going to be 11, and then probably another 11 laps. Going to have a shorter soft stint towards the end potentially. We'll have to see. Definitely going to lose a bit of track position here of Ryan B and Steven going by. Steven actually opting for the move to go for the lead. Can he go by? Yes, he can. Ryan B looks like he wants to get back though. Side by side, still the wheel nudging side by side, but looks like Steven this time out has got it complete. Meantime, Cam K's got past Crack.
Well, I think he's going to go back from into turn 4 here. He's got the inside line. Can he keep it out the inside? They're going side by side, but no, my goodness, that was risky, but he made it work.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if that was the smartest thing to do for Ryan B himself, but he definitely gave it a go to try and opt for that move. But at turn 4 or turn 5, it's just not places you want to be going side by side. So how close it was that time around. We'll have to see if he can maybe do it on the main straight here later on.
As my goat Stephen says Indigo, and absolutely, I mean, what a bit of defensive driving there into turn 4 and 5. And to be fair, confidence in Ryan B to back out when he wasn't going to make it work. I will give Ryan B that good, fair driving once it wasn't his. Removing his cart from the place it doesn't want to be, avoiding that further contact.
Here comes Ryan B once again, because he's got the DRS, and I think he's got a little bit of a run down towards turn 1 potentially.
Is it enough? He's quite far back. No,
he goes for it. Yeah, he is. Danny inside. He's going to make that one stick. Steban still on the outside. Steban now backing out there, and Ryan B back up into the lead.
Yeah, strong showing from Red Bull. Steban not quite able to hold on enough, still with that lead group. The hard tyres starting. We thought it was an odd strategy, especially pitting after 8 laps, but he's made it work. And now has a lot more to play with in terms of tyre strategy. Ryan B, remember, he cannot go on to another set of mediums. He's gone medium. That second mandatory pit stop, he has to choose the soft or the hard. Steven, he's got options as to what he can do. Any tyre of his choice, assuming he's got enough of them. But these two for the moment keeping Cam K out of that DRS range. I will hop on board here with Bosnia, who's right on the tail of Crack.
Yeah, Crack now losing with his older tyres and obviously the default setup. You can just see how unstable the car can get through some of these corners, going up board with Bosnia. Just the cars swinging out from left to right everywhere. So I think Bosnia and maybe even Aaron Newark just in behind as well. They're both going to opt for a move here as Q is spun coming for the penultimate corner. Crack is going to defend here. It's going to be Bosnia with a lot of overspeed and easily getting past Harry Newark. Is he going to go for it? He's not close enough, so he's going to have to wait it out for now. The top 2 have remained in their respective positions. Bosnia now has a bit of a job to do to try and catch these top 3 here.
Yeah, Harry Noir is right onto the back of him. Much fresher tyres. He wants to get through as soon as he can, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of ERS to spare here. So
not really. He's going gonna have to do it maybe here, but yeah, the gap is just so small to try and get through. He's gonna have to do it maybe elsewhere. Could have been an opportunity there. I think if he used the ERS nicely there, he could have maybe got on the exit.
Oh my goodness, a moment by Crack.
You just seen how much he's struggling, and yeah, Harnoark already nearly 2 seconds down on where Bosnia is right now. So it just shows how much Crack is just losing per lap.
Yeah, I think he is still just on 3 seconds of time penalties. Flips managed to pick himself up 12 seconds, but I suspect we're about to see another change for the lead. But this time, importantly, I think Kamke's got himself DRS. He's got himself caught up with that lead battle, where these front two going to swap the gap a couple tenths less than last time around. You can see in the background,
here we go,
defensive there from Crack, but Steben is through into the lead. Can Ryan B get the switchback? No, he can't. Beautifully placed there by Steben, able to block off the switchback. Ryan B forced down to that second position, and now potentially under threat from his teammates. I don't know how much the two Red Bull drivers are willing to work together.
Obviously, now that the championship is in the bag, and the knowledge might be there for both drivers, that there might not be as much team orders anymore. So hopefully get some good fighting here. And Bosnia looking to catch here as well. 2 seconds off. It's already caught a little bit. He's got still some to definitely catch here. And Harnoark still stuck behind Crack. Not quite able to find a gap to go through. California getting a 3-second time penalty. That's going to help Crack. For now, he is probably going to be in a net P7 still, the McLaren. So, not too bad as for now. Actually, he's still P6, but I think Axel is catching quite quickly. Q picking up a 3-second time penalty. We'll go on towards the lead battle. Steven still at the front. Brian B, Kamke now following suit. I'm going to see, I think, a move for the lead here. And Kamke wanting to make it 3 wide down towards turn 1. Kamke getting past both of them. And he's into the lead now.
And there we go. That is why he is your champion here. Two of them in one go. Gradually caught them up. Got the DRS. And first try around. Got not just one, but 2 overtakes it. Steben right onto the back, but he's not going to go for a move. Well, I haven't said that. He might go for a move. Is he going to send it here into the hairpin? Car looks like he's considering it, but no, he's not going to. Now the question is, 1 lap fresher tyres. Is that enough for Kamke to start to pull away? Or is he still going to keep ahead of these guys and just hold on to it?
Yeah, without any mistakes, I think it's going to be very difficult to pull away. You can see Ryan B remaining 3, 4, maybe 5 tenths behind, but not very much more. And yeah, these guys are not slow themselves either. You can see that. So I think these guys are just wanting to stay in the DRS for the time being. I think it's also wise if you don't start fighting each other, being Ryan B and Steven at this point, because you know through fighting you can lose time, and then Kamke does get a chance to pull away. And for the time being, that is as it is. Ryan B still fairly close. 4 tenths could get back through on Kamke here, then towards turn 1 as Axel has picked up a 3-second time penalty now as well. I think Ryan B staying behind for the time being.
Yeah,
yes, he is in the background.
Among the top 3 though.
Harnoark then the inside of Crack. Is he this time gonna make it work? I think still side by side into towards turn 2. Both of them no ERS, bit of wheel banging there on the exit. We're in the entry there. Harnoark now trying to get the better run on the exit of turn 3. Crack defending pretty well. And holding on to P5 on track.
Yeah, do you know what? He's driving well today, isn't he? I don't know.
He definitely is. Makes you wonder what he could have done without with a normal setup.
Well, remember, he was the man who was, what was it? 3 tenths up on the pole time before he had a poor last sector. So raw pace, I mean, Crack was going to be the fastest here today.
Yeah, I believe so. So at this point, looks like it's the mid opportunity for the McLaren. But yeah, Harnoark still not able to get through. Closing up for here as well, but it's so difficult to try and make a move here because there's no real slow corners apart from the hairpin just starting sector 2. Other than that, you're gonna have to try it with DRS down towards turn 1. Those are the only 2 opportunities. Crack has now had enough of it, and he's going into the pits. As Ryan B has made a mistake, and this might allow Camke an opportunity to try and break clear a little bit.
Yeah, and almost getting him back as well, having made that mistake. So what tyres are we going to see Crack put on? He's gone hard, medium, medium, so they should last him to the end. That is 12 laps on those tyres though, but that should be manageable, especially given the fuel weight going to be less in that last stint of the race.
Yeah, that's definitely doable. Let's see how well he holds up. If he can gain back some pace. He's out in P10 on track here. So because Matt's a bit ahead. Because Matt's been on this hard since lap 1, the end of lap 1 anyway. So yeah, he's doing a very good job to still be driving on his tyres and actually still catching Q, I think. Who's on newer softs. Those softs will not be that new at this point anymore. But we'll have to see. Top 3 still remaining intact. Bosnia has not quite managed to catch up, but he's preserved his ERS pretty well. I think he's still got an opportunity to get into this lead fight. But you might have to do it on strategy a little bit. He's going to be pitting probably later than all of these guys, so maybe his tire advantage at the end will be good enough that he can catch up to the top 3.
Yeah, there's Crack in the chat there saying Defo out of fuel. Well, I doubt he's out of fuel because he had +3. I don't know if he's referring to himself or one of the other drivers. I'm not sure there. A hop mod though with Flip. He's closing down on Swip.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be referring to himself, to be honest, because I think the standard it gives you as the game, which obviously he would have gotten, is about 1.5 laps extra, and without any safety cars I think he's gonna run out towards the end as Flip indeed passing Swip very easily on the straight. Williams up into P10, Matt's now pitting onto a set of softs, so maybe the only driver to have not used the mediums whatsoever.
Yeah, well, what did he use on lap 1? Did he go soft, hard,
I think he wasn't,
soft?
yeah, I believe he wasn't softs to start with. I could be wrong, but I think it was softs he started on and he went hard after lap 1. Now back onto softs, so let's see how that's going to go towards the end. It's still a long way, 11 laps. We're going to have to see if he can do it.
Yeah, actually, brave choice on the soft there, isn't it? He certainly used at least 2 compounds, which is all that is required.
Steban's into the pits, first one to pull the trigger here.
Yeah, Bosnia not pitting either.
Yeah, Bosnia now catching towards the end of the stint. His tire is not as dead. Let's see what's going to be. Another medium set for Steban. Obviously starting on the hards, he's going to be able to do that. And California in as well onto a set of softs there for the Ferrari. Q in as well, I think potentially with soft set as well. So I can just check that hopefully. Yeah, let's see. Steban with his undercut could find himself into the lead after this, but can he hold on after that? Gonna have to see. Crack setting the fastest lap and doing quite well to hold on to these tires.
Another set of another set of softs for Q. We'll see. I reckon we're going to see Ryan B come in this lap around, so we might want to avoid the double stack. That's the problem. I think if Camke doesn't pit this lap, Ryan B's going to have to, because his tyre's 10 laps old now. If he wants to avoid the double stack,
to go 2 more laps, then yeah, it's not ideal at that point. So yeah, there's a good chance that we see Ryan B in. There's maybe a chance we see Camke in as well.
Well, I think
then Ryan B would have to stay out.
Yeah, we definitely see one Red Bull come in.
Yeah, there we go.
Ryan B was doing the opposite of Camke. Bosnia also in, interestingly not elongating his younger tyres to go for that overcut. Of course it wouldn't get him on track, but gives him the fresher tyres. Could then fall the way of Ryan B as an overtake. They're all side by side here in this section between Flip and California, trying to hold it a long way around the sides. He likes his front wing intact the way it is, and that is Flip through on California, who, bear in mind, it's on fresh soft tyres just out the pits. Tyres will be warmed up by this point of the track. Hence why they were able to get side by
flipped it in.
side. And yeah, into the pits anyway. Sure, California is not going to be too happy about that extra bit of battling, as all it does is harm both their races. But hey, you're having fun on the track. That's the most important bit here for these guys. Are side by side, Crack and Bosnia freshly out of the pits.
Oh, side by side there, a little bit forceful by Crack. Might not have the choice to do so, but he is ahead. And that's once again gonna, I think, haunt Bosnia a little bit, seeing that McLaren's rear wing. Because he had this in the first instance, Matt is now set the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, Bosnia not having the luck of the draw with traffic here right now. In the meantime, Steban, with that undercut, has gained 2 seconds on Kamke. A little bit more actually, because Kamke was obviously ahead a little bit. So, the undercut has worked. Kamke down the better compound.
Yeah.
Could try and catch back up.
Steban on the mediums. Kamke closing him for the moment, but in terms of the long term, those last few laps really going to be in favour of Steban. Ryan B, Axel, both using that Honda engine, pitting this lap. I'd imagine they are going to drop down to about P5 and 6. Well, certainly Ryan B will be about P5. Not too sure if Axel will be amongst the two McLarens.
Here comes Bosnia on the exit of the final corner. A little bit of a wobble, but he's got enough speed, I think, that he can get past. To see Ryan B there coming out of the pits as well. Bosnia towards the outside of turn 1 with a lot more downforce. Goes very deep though. I think he's got that one stuck for turn 2 there. I don't think Crack has much to bring in against him there. Using ERS, but he's running out of fuel. You can see it's now the yellow light. Bosnia towards the inside, defending. Towards the outside, can he get that done? Not quite. The McLaren is still trying to fight it, but it's not looking like he could do it. Ryan B now on the back with very fresh tires and probably wanting to get through on the McLaren as quickly as he can.
Yeah, I think Crack's just decided, let's have a blast, have a bit of fun with this car, do what I can. The McLaren's fairly secure P2 in the Constructors. Though Crack himself P8, and to be fair, he's fairly safe from not falling down any further in the title, but should be fairly easy to improve. He's got 2 drivers within 10 points ahead of him.
Steven, 3 second time penalty.
Huge.
Yeah, that's going to give Kamke practically the race win here, because I don't think Ryan B is close enough to really challenge him. So if Kamke can keep it clean here today, I think he's got this race win in the bag. Bosnia 3 seconds behind as well. Looks a long way from home. As, we see Kamke going for the lead, move for the lead there. Ryan B and Crack side by side down towards turn 1 as well. See if Ryan B can get through. Yes, he can on this fresh results. Easily done and up to P4. And can now fight it out with Bosnia, or are they going to try and work together to catch Steban out and then fight out for P2?
Yeah, it does make you wonder. 3.8 seconds, it's manageable, but of course Bosnia's on the same age tyres as Kamke. There's not much of a difference. Flip picking up fastest lap down in P11. There's a Q clearly in an intense battle here, given he's picking up time penalties, so I have to hop on board with this one.
Yeah, Matt's on the outside. Surely he's not going to hold that. Q giving him enough space. Matt's around the outside. Beautiful move there by the Alpine. Can he get that stuck? Yes, he can. That's an amazing overtake. It's a little bit battling there between the two, but around the outside of turn 4 and 5, not one I've seen before. So up at the P9 he goes on track, and then gets a time penalty.
Yeah, well,
not ideal. But
Matt's is only on 3 seconds, Q's on 9 seconds, so I guess the better of the two of them. But
that's true. So Flip definitely not the better of anyone.
15.
18 seconds.
I missed the last one then. Yeah, well, Qatar is Ryan B, going for a move on Bosnia up the inside into turn 1. Bosnia, nothing he can do. I'm not sure he even wanted to do anything. So just seemed to be losing ground there, though. He's pushing right into the back of him, but yeah, putting himself offline because of it, dropping back that a little bit more.
I've seen another driver who's in fuel troubles, and that's Axel in P8. So more and more, and as well Flip in P11 in fuel troubles. So maybe not everyone quite aware of how it works around here. and it's kind of showing. So this could be interesting towards the end. See if anyone else is gonna have some issues. Obviously, the yellow light on the bottom only kind of shows up when you don't have enough anymore. So it could be any split second that people are still on the right side now, but in a couple laps it won't be anymore. So we're gonna have to see. But yeah, could be very costly.
Yeah, so how many laps have we got left of the race? 5 laps once we've rounded the final corner for Kamke, who at the moment does just seem to be leading away here. Stephen didn't even pick up DRS at that time around. That is quite crucial in terms of just building up that gap even more. If one of Stephen's penalties, he could have got one of Stephen's warnings, he could have got removed. Well, that's going to matter even less now. Hard to close down. We'll hop on board though with the 2 Ferraris. As California is on the back of Harry Noir, decides not to go for the move on his teammate.
Yeah, the fact that teammate obviously is California is a reserve here. But Harry Noir, another driver now on showing the yellow light on the bottom. So we could see some interesting images towards the end of the race here. Drivers just running out. In the meantime, Brian B trying to close the gap to Steven. Steven got back in DRS. Now I'd be thinking if Kamke would, slow down a little bit here to help his team again the penalty range potentially.
I think Harry Noir deliberately pulling aside and letting California through, just essentially let him run ahead.
I'm not surprised if you're running out of fuel. Yeah, it's easier to lift and coast a little bit here and there, and then use DRS to catch back up. Yeah, that might be a smart decision for the Greek. Just salvage as much as he can. Actually, without any penalties, he's going to be in a good place probably.
They do have Ibo around this part of the track, who is ghosted and a lap down. I don't know how distracting that's going to be for the drivers, but an amalgamation of cars there.
As for now, it seems to be okay. Yeah, I think we'll see Harry Noir lift a lot here. Coming down towards turn 1. See, he's closing up towards his teammate, but not that much actually. I expected there to be more. I've seen Axel, for example, do it himself already a bit. So he has a little bit of a gap behind, so he's going to attempt to do that, with Matt being his closest threat, given that Q has about 6 seconds of penalties and more. So yeah, this could be very interesting towards the end. See if the top 4 seem to be fine at least, so seems like they're gonna decide who gets the podium positions here, and then most importantly who gets second, third, and fourth, because Kamke looks pretty locked in for the win, but those 3 could still swap.
Penalty. Those 3 seconds right now is for 3rd place. It would be between Ryan B and Bosnia, who themselves are battling still on track.
Yeah, but if they're battling, then the gap can grow again, and then Steven obviously has more chance himself. So it's a bit of a tactical choice. What do you do exactly in this situation? So Steven himself looking very close here to Kamke actually on track, and looking to get through on the American into P1 on track. Ryan B, Bosnia. Bosnia is going to go for the move, it looks like. Ryan B going for the switchback here, interestingly enough. Very much set up there. Bosnia just can't follow it through. That was very smart driving from the Red Bull. But they have lost some time now. And you can see it now, the gap is 3.7 to Steven. So, it can switch very quickly if you do things like this.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, Kamke wants to beat Steven on track for the sake of his teammate, while Kamke essentially guaranteed the win, although starting to fall away a little bit. Those mediums doing better than the softs now, and I think he might not get DRS at the end of this lap. Yeah.
A good chance, yeah. Steven is absolutely flying at this point. This lap he just started to, pace it. 1.0, Kamke. Ooh! The yellow light is flickering for Kamke. This could be interesting.
Yeah, this spices things up.
It's going up and down. He's trying to fuel save.
He's also trying to get DRS, and he's managed it. He has just about managed it. Had a 10th to spare, but will get it for another lap. Still And 2 laps left to go now. I think Kamke should be okay, but he's going to have to really start fuel saving now.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult because he's going to have to both not lose 3 seconds to either Steban or Ryan B dies, and at the same time manage to fuel save. It could be very difficult towards the end here. I'm not sure Kamke's win is guaranteed here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking the same at one point. It seemed he had it completely dunked on the rest of them, but in the end, that gap opening up, and if he has to manage his fuel, that is really going to start to come away from him. Q and Axel, well, Axel, you mentioned earlier, he was struggling with fuel. As Q goes up into P8, although I believe Q has, what is it, 9 seconds? Yeah, 9 seconds of time penalties at the moment. Gap 1.4 between the front two now. Do you know what? It is going to be close.
Very interesting last sector where we just see half the grid run out of fuel going around the track. We'll have to see. But yeah, it doesn't look like Kamke is going to make it fully. It's just whether he's going to have the gap. At this point, you'd almost just suggest floor it, see where you get, and then hope for the best. Hope you carry enough speed, maybe out of the final corner that you can do it, but yeah, we're going to see as we head into the final lap. Harry Noir picking up a 3-second time penalty for good measure.
Yeah, his first 3, and actually that potentially takes away his P6 to his teammate, although Harry Noir was struggling with fuel. As here we go, Bosnia around the outside of Ryan B, and he makes it work, sweeps across, but gets it done at the start of the last lap. That might lock him in to that P3 position.
Well, it could be P2 if Kamke runs out. It looked like Steban looks to have this unlocked as long as he doesn't get any more penalties.
Well, he's got to find a lot of time here in these last couple of sectors. Though Kamke is red. Depends when he runs out of fuel.
That means you're under a lap total. So
well,
that's going to be the case for a lot of. Yeah, that's pretty normal for most people. But we're going to have to see how bad it's going to be and where he runs out. For the time being, Steban 2.2 seconds. He's going to have to find 8/10. This could be very close. Using all of the ERS's Kamke to try and minimize the damage as much as possible. Looks like Bosnia doesn't have much to say about this win either. You have to see. It's, Bosnia now having made a mistake. Steban still holding on to it, but there goes some yellow flags. I think that was one of the Ferraris. Let's see Kamke. I think he's going to get it. I think Kamke just about holds on enough. We're going to have to see.
Mistake in the background for Bosnia. He's gone wide and picked up 3 seconds. Kamke takes the win. It'll be Ryan B getting P3 in the end because of Bosnia making that mistake despite getting it on track.
Somehow Crack hasn't fully ran out of fuel, which I find very impressive.
Crack's P5, my goodness, that speaks to the man's skill. California, half a tenth behind him. It's Ibo crossing the line there. He is a lap down. Q, the next man, although I think he's going to lose a few positions once the next 2 drivers cross the line. No, if they ran out of fuel. Harry Noir is out of fuel entirely.
Yeah, he's...
Actually, Q safe, yeah. Axel P10, the penalties put him down. Sorry, Axel P9, but penalties put him down to P10. Harry Noir P9 in the end. Flip 21 seconds of time penalties. I think Swip's going to get P11. And there we go. That concludes a chaotic penalty fuel running out of ridden race. And my goodness, what a way to end that 29 laps.
That came quite tense. I thought Kamke was going to be worse on fuel, but just about managed to hold on. And yeah, matched it perfectly.
Yeah, and I imagine, well, Kamke winning, it's nice for him to earn that title a little bit more. It's almost going to be good news for MCR. MCR, unfortunately, not able to pick up his setup, but seeing Kamke win, it's kind of reassuring that it wouldn't have made a difference, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
As I have been given the black loading screen of death. Nope, we're on the podium, and there it is, Kamke on the top step. Ryan B making it a Red Bull double podium with his P3. But it's Steban who gets that P2. Bosnia, literally the last corner, picking up 3 seconds of time penalties, losing out that P2 P3 position that he would have got.
Yeah, that's going to be very unfortunate for him there. Crack finishing P5 then. Then it's California, Q, P7, and Matt, Harry Newark, Axel, Swip, Flip with the fastest lap, extra point there. And then it's Ibo, and then Jameson, MCR, not finishing this race.
Please show me the final standings. I get the feeling we're going to see it for a split second. Yep, there we go. No, okay. So, we'll give you a proper run through of the standings by, well, I guess looking at the final order as they crossed the line. So, as mentioned, time and time again, Kamke winning here, winning the title to go along with it. That is his, what? My goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was his 6th win of the season. Bear in mind, that is out of just 13 rounds. He's only managed 1 third place. He's got 3 seconds. So a remarkably strong season from him to close out the title. Stephen, P2 in the end. Not another win for him, but now he's got 2 thirds, 2 seconds. And looking fairly strong for P2 in the title. Though Ryan B finishing P3, and he is the P3 in the title. So those two going to have a nice little scrap towards the end. That gap only closing down by 4 points between those two. And then Bosnia P4, Crack P5 with no setup, bear in mind. So remarkable race from him. California P6, Q P7, Mats P8, Harry Noir P9, and Axel finishing out the top 10 there with 10th. Flip got P12, then Swip P11, Ibo 13th, James Head 14th, and then MCR, an early retirement from him due to a lack of setup. Messing up his race, but that was good fun for a race that had no safety car. There was action throughout the entire thing there.
Yeah, most definitely, and obviously not for everyone the wish result, but still definitely plenty of action, and Kamke winning once again.
There's actually no Crack confirming that he did run out of fuel before the line.
Just to add, then it must have not been by much, which still quite impressive.
But yeah, well, I think unless you have anything else to say, it'll be thank you guys for watching, and come back again next week for the season finale at Qatar. Well, hopefully there won't be any lobby glitches messing up people's setups and strategies. Sure, there could still be the chaos of fuel, still the mandatory 2-stop, but it'll be a nice goodbye for Division 3 to F1 23. I'm sure plenty of the drivers will be happy to see it go. Some might be sad to see it go, but I guess it all depends on, well, what the next game ends up giving us.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you next week at Qatar.